I just want to introduce someone that doesn't need introduction. You know, there's a Teshuva from Harav Eliezer Yehuda Waldenberg, Alav Shalom, the Tzis Eliezer. He was actually a Yidid Nefesh, a close friend of Chacham Ovadia. He was the head rabbi of the Sha'arei Tzedek Hospital, one of the great poskim. He was the son-in-law of Rav Frank, the Rabashi Yerushalayim, who was a mentor of Chacham Ovadia. He was asked in 1974 a question about Tkiyat Shofar and Elul. Now, we don't, the Sfaradim generally speaking, don't do Tkiyat Shofar. Us, the Persians, don't do it even during Slichot necessarily. We wait until Rosh Hashanah. But the Ashkenazim, every morning, they have Tkiyat Shofar in Elul. So somebody that missed a Tfilah B'tzibur asked Rav Waldenberg whether or not he should blow shofar at home. He davens, he finishes the Tfilah. Maybe he should blow shofar to be Mekayem the Minhag Yisrael. And he brings from the language of the Torah, he says, no, you don't have to. Because the shofar is a mitzvah of the tzibur. The Torah brings two different psukim. Taka shofar ba'ir ve'ha'am lo yeheradu. That the tkiyat shofar is be'ir. It's for the city by itself. It's not a singular personal thing, but it's more of a communal thing. And also the pasuk in Torah, it's a shofar blowing in the machane, in the camp. So says Rabbi Waldenberg, the action of shofar that's supposed to be awakening people is really a community coming together to be awakened. It's not just something for a simple person, a yahid, but it's a kol shofar that's b'machane, itaka shofar ba'ir, that's going to rise the spirit of people and give them hit'orerut to do tshuva. You know, we have Baruch Hashem kol shofar every day in the community here with all the shiurim, with the Torah that's learned in the morning, at night. But then you have a tkab shofar gadol. You have sometimes a community that's zocher to have a shofar gadol that blows with a strong, steady voice. Kol gadol v'lo yasaf. A continuous voice of shofar. I think what HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mezakeh Klal Yisrael with Alav Shalom Chacham Ovadia was a kol shofar, kol delo pasik, a strong, steady voice. Actually, I did not know this time. Rav David Shalita told me that it was his idea that Chacham Ovadia should go. What we know his minhag was an Elul every single day. He visited different communities in Eretz Yisrael, 3, 4. He would go with helicopter. Rav David Yossef Shalita would go with the car beforehand to keep the people busy until it came 5,000 people, 4,000 people, 3,000 people at the time. And Rav Ovadia would come with helicopter in the stadiums, right? The Yalkut writes, this is really a Gemara as well. The Yalkut writes, "La'atid lavo the batei tiatriaot, batei karkesaot shel goyim, they will become batei midrash u'batei knesset." The Ktav Sofer asks, he says, why shouldn't it be horato b'kedusha? It should be something that you build from the beginning, like dinei bet knesset. He says, no, when you go there and you see the excitement of the goyim for shtuyot v'avalim, you see that they're running after ball. They're excited for shtuyot. Then you'll have that excitement to apply it to learning and to doing mitzvot. Ovadia, this was the zchut of Chacham David Shlita. The Ovadia went and was mezakeh Arabim from city to city, mekatet raglav. And not just that, he took the mantle of the Jews in Chutz La'aretz. Actually, I was waiting to get this video for years. The video of Chacham Ovadia coming to the Bet Knesset, that actually my grandfather Alav Shalom had what to do with the building of the Bet Knesset. Chacham Ovadia many years ago, I think over 40 years ago, Chacham Ovadia went to Iran and he spoke there. Somebody last night actually sent me a 2-minute video from it, and it's tremendous. He went from city to city, from country to country, to be Mizakei Arabim, and it's a zchut to have somebody that has stepped in the footsteps of Chacham Ovadia in the same serious way, not just in Eretz Yisrael, but even in Chutz La'aretz, to go from place to place, to be the kol shofar, to be that voice of inspiration for people. And again, as I mentioned before, many of us may not know that Chacham David Shalita has had what to do with Yechave Da'at. If you've ever learned Yechave Da'at, some of the tshuvot of Yechave Da'at has been written by Rabbi David. I didn't know this even myself. And the other ones that Ovadia wrote himself, it was really learning the Havruta with him. So it's really a continuation of the path of Rabbi Ovadia Yossef, alav shalom. It's a zchut, an honor and privilege to have him with us tonight and to hear divrei bracha.
בראשות ידיד נפשי, המרה דעתרא, הגאון הרב שלמה ישראלי, שליטה. I'm always happy to hear his divrei Torah. Baruch Hashem, you are lucky you have him. Baruch Hashem, you have to use him. He is for you. So anyone has question, wants to learn Torah, you have an address here. Be'ezrat Hashem, yamshich ma'ala ma'ala. He is a great תלמיד חכם, ברוך השם. ימשיך להפיץ מעיינותיו חוצה, להגדיל תורה ולהאדירה, אמן כן יהי רצון. רבותיי, I was here Shabbat. I enjoyed very much, and I want to continue the subject I was talking on Shabbat. I talk about 2 subjects. I'll start with one of them. I said that we have a trial, Rosh Hashanah, life or death. And we don't feel like we have a trial. We don't feel like we have a trial. I gave an example. Someone was caught by, let's say, FBI. Crime. He made a crime, and the FBI, the prosecutor, wants to put him in jail for 5 years. So he takes the best lawyer. He spent big money. He thinking all the time what to do to convince the judge not to send him to prison. And any idea he has, he tells the lawyer, he tries. The night before, of course, he cannot sleep. So, maximum 5 years he will be in prison. Believe me, I was in prison in the United States. I visited a few times prison. It's not the end of the world. It's not good, but it's not the end of the world. In a way, it's also good. Yeah, I will tell you. I have a friend here, Talmid Chacham, and some people did something good, not good with him, and they caught him, and he got 5 years. One day before, it broke his heart. One day before he went to prison, I went to my father. It's a pity that we didn't tape that conversation. I sat next to my father. I told him, my father knew that rabbi very good, very much. He met him many times. My father said, let me talk to him. My father spoke with him 20 minutes. And he told him, look, I know you don't have parnasah. So all the time you were working here, there. Now you cannot do anything. So you trust Hashem will give parnasah for your family. As first thing, according to that, first thing, you have more bitachon. You trust Hashem, you know you cannot do, you say Hashem, you have no choice, only you can help. And that's what happened. Hashem helped his family. Baruch Hashem, they got better than before and better than after. The best time was when he was not involved about parnasa. Second, my father told him, you will go to prison. What will you do all the day? It's open prison, very nice place. I went to visit. You have kosher food. You have everything. So what will you do? You will learn. You will learn Torah. So this rabbi, he went to prison. He was learning all the day. A few hours every day, he was teaching Torah. It was like maybe 80 religious people were there, Jewish religious. Some religious, some not. The Jewish not religious, they loved him very much. He used to give them classes every day. They had long time, nothing to do. So he was teaching, learning. And he left the prison, big Talmid Chacham. So we look at it very bad. I remember when I went to visit him 6 months after he was in prison, he was a very happy man. His family used to come twice a week to visit him. And Baruch Hashem, good, and he was happy. Yeah? And learning Torah all the time. And he made some people became Baalei Teshuva. He took, I remember one man, very rich man, he was caught about something, also he got a few years. He came, he was sitting in his room crying all the time. He told him, why are you crying? Come with me. And very short time with him, he recovered. And he was happy there, learning Torah, he became religious. Baruch Hashem. So, but I'm sure no one here now was convinced that he has to go to jail. Yeah, of course, you don't want to go. So, to go to jail, it's not, as I said, it's not the end of the world. But Rosh Hashanah, לחיים ולמוות. Hashem is making the decision about everyone if he lives or he will die. So, do we feel like that? The night before Rosh Hashanah, the night of Rosh Hashanah, do we sleep good? Yes, we sleep. Why? Why are we so sure that it will be okay? We know that many people died this year. The decision was on Rosh Hashanah. Hashem made the decision. So they didn't know. So why? Because we paid life insurance? So we cannot die? No, we don't know. But Rabotai, this is the Yetzer Hara. We have Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is convincing us, yeah, people will die, yeah, I'm okay. Not me. I don't belong to the people that die. I will not. For sure, we feel good. No one agrees to think about himself that he is history. Yeah? I remember I went once to visit a man, he was 85, and he was in hospital very bad. It was 3 weeks before the man passed away. When I came, he saw me, he was crying. He said, Rabbi, I know I'm going to die, he told me. I know I will not leave the hospital alive. That's what happened. I told him, no, you have to pray. A few minutes later, his wife came. He told her, look, I have no shoes. My shoes are not good, so buy for me new shoes. She said, okay. He said, don't buy like last time. Buy good shoes that will be good for 1, 2, 3 years. 5 minutes ago, you told me that you don't think you will leave the hospital alive. And then you say you want shoes. Yeah. Nobody wants to think about himself that he is history. No, I'm here. I'm planning to stay here. I will tell you something that the Gemara said. The Midrash and the Gemara. When Am Israel were in the desert, the spice came from Eretz Israel. The pasuk said, "Vatisa kol ha'eda, vayitenu et kolam, vayivku ha'am balayla hahu." All of Am Israel, when they heard the 10 spies about Eretz Israel, it's scary, they were crying. They were sitting and crying. Hashem was very angry. That night was the night of Tisha B'Av. Hashem told them, you cried b'chiyah shel chinam, for nothing. And from now on, you will cry this night forever, for many years. So, next day, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to tell them, all the 600,000 people will die in the desert. All of them. It was very bad gezerah, and all of them died, according to what it is written in the Torah. During the 40 years they were in the desert, all of them died. But the Gemara said, no. The Gemara said, what happened? First of all, Hashem decided they will die Tisha B'Av. So, every year, all the people that died, it was at the night of Tisha B'Av. That's what the Gemara and the Midrash said. The night of Tisha B'Av. So if you divide 600,000 to 40 years, how many people died every Tisha B'Av? 15,000. One night, 15,000. No Hevra Kadisha in the world can make 15,000 funerals every day. It's impossible. So the Midrash said what they did, because Moshe Rabbeinu told them they are going to die at the night of Tisha B'Av, every year 15,000. So they digged each one a grave for himself. They went to sleep inside the grave. Yeah, all of them went to sleep in the grave. In the morning, Moshe Rabbeinu announced, "Ibadlu achayim mitoch hametim." Anyone who is alive, wake up. So, people that were alive, they went out. And they saw who didn't. They covered the grave on him and said Kaddish. That's it. Big tragedy. Every year, 15,000 people. The 40th year came. The last 15,000, the last group, they went, also they were sleeping in the grave. In the morning, Moshe Rabbeinu announced, anyone who is alive, wake up. All of them woke up. No one died. Wow. They were very excited. We woke up. Why? So they decided that maybe they made a mistake. They went to the grave night before Tisha B'Av. So we have to do it again tomorrow night. Next night, also they went and they woke up. Again and again, every night they went, they slept in the grave, and they woke up in the morning. Until the night of Tu B'Av, 15th of Av, they saw the moon completed. They understood that Hashem forgave them. And they were celebrating. Since that, the Tu B'Av became good celebration for all of Am Israel. The Gemara said something about that. Our Gemara said that at that night they stopped dying. They didn't die anymore. But according to the Midrash, that's what happened. when I read that, I asked myself a question. Hashem forgave the last 15,000. Why? Why? Because, you will say, because they made Teshuva. Yeah? They made Teshuva, so Hashem forgave them. A year before, people didn't make Teshuva. Anyone who went to sleep in grave, of course, he didn't know, maybe he will die. So all of them made Teshuva. So 39 years people made Teshuva, Hashem didn't forgive them. Only the last group, the last 15,000, Hashem forgave them. Why? So, Rabotai, let's think together. We can learn from that big Musar. Suppose someone will come to us, to one of us, he doesn't have money. He will tell him, you know what, you want money? I will give you $10,000 cash, but on one condition. Go to sleep in the cemetery. No one will agree. It's scary. I will go to sleep in the cemetery. No way, no way. If you give me 100,000, I will not go. And if someone tells us, go to sleep in the cemetery, not next to a grave, inside a grave. Somebody told me that he made MRI. You know what is MRI? He said, he thought it's like a grave. He felt so bad. He said, Baruch Hashem, it was big noise there. So because of that, he was okay. But he felt, it's scary. He told me it's very scary. So real grave, to go to sleep inside the grave, of course, people will not do that. And if we tell someone, go sleep in a grave, but there is big chance that you will see the angel of death. He will kill you. The worst, yes? So we can understand the feeling of people that they had to do that in the desert. So, if we have a little imagination, we can understand that before they did it, everyone was shaking, crying. Before he went to the grave, he kissed his children, his family. He said, goodbye. Maybe I will not wake up tomorrow. Goodbye. And he was crying. He said, Vidui, Hashem, please forgive me. And then, big tragedy. But at that moment, Yetzer Hara comes to everyone. Yetzer Hara knows if he makes Teshuva, Hashem will forgive him, he will be clean. Yetzer Hara doesn't want him to make Teshuva. Now he has to convince him that even to sleep in a grave, even if he has a chance to die, it's not the end. So Yetzer Hara tells him like that. Look, if you, Has v'Shalom, you went to the doctor, he said you have, Has v'Shalom, cancer. But the doctor will tell you, this cancer, 2% of the people die, 98% survive. He will say, wow, it's not so bad. 98% to survive? So, I belong to the 98, not to the 2%. So, Yetzer Hara tells him, look, there are 600,000. 40 years. So 15,000 will die, and 585,000 will not die. So the chance you will die is very small, only 2%. So you may don't cry so much and don't make vidui. Vidui, it means to make decision, that's it, no avonot. What will happen tomorrow? You will want to make avonot, you will wake up, you promise something you will not fulfill. So don't, relax, be happy, don't worry, everything will be okay. So the people, they said, Hatati, Aviti, Pasati, in one eye crying, on the other one, no, Be'ezrat Hashem, this one, he will die, I will not die. Lo amut ki ehyeh. So the Teshuva they had was not good. Second year, now the chance that they will die became a little bigger. But from the other side, people said, we did it once, and we woke up in the morning. I remember once I met someone in New York, and he got cancer. And he was talking to me, he was very happy. I told him, wow, you are brave. He said, no, I'm not brave. He told me he had 3 times cancer and he recovered. Now it's the 4th time. So he did it 3 times, I will do it the 4th time. Like it's a flu, he felt. So the same thing, the people, we did it last year, so they got used to that. So every year they made Teshuva, but okay, it will be okay. Even the year before the last, 50% they will die, but 50% they will live. Now, check people that the doctor tells them, cancer, 50% you have to live. Be'ezrat Hashem you will live. They are not desperate. Be'ezrat Hashem it will be okay. So the Teshuva was not good. But the last year, the last 15,000, they knew it will not be next year. It will not be even tomorrow. This is the last night for them. Tonight we are going to meet, they thought that they are going to meet the angel of death. He will come, he will kill us. It was very scary, and they understood they have no hope anymore. So their Teshuvah was first time. It was a real Teshuvah. Real Teshuvah. So they were crying. They were praying. They said, Hashem, now at the last moment of our people can make Teshuvah, even the last day of their life. So Teshuvah, that Teshuvah was perfect. Perfect. They became pure completely. Hashem said, these people, I forgive them. They will enter Eretz Israel. They will survive, they will enter Eretz Israel. So, because this was a different, real Teshuvah. So, Rabotai, Yetzer Hara is preventing us from making real Teshuvah. We're thinking, I'm okay. Everything will be okay. I ate something, I said, Yehi Ratzon, I ate a head of lamb or cow, I said, Sheniyeh lerosh velo lezanav, I ate this, I ate that, I enjoyed honey with apple, I said, Shana Tova umetuka, sweet year, it will be sweet year, that's it. And then after Rosh Hashanah, I took a chicken, I made kaparati, he died, the chicken, and Be'ezrat Hashem, he died for me, and I'm okay. No, Rabotai, it's sketch. It's good minagim to make kaparot, to eat something, but We have to make Teshuva. We have to check ourselves what we did. How to have mitzvot, maasim tovim, how to make Teshuva. And Rabotai, lo bashamayim hi. We will read this Shabbat. Lo bashamayim hi. It's easy. Why it's easy? According to Harambam and Rabbeinu Yonah, to make Teshuva, it's long process. But when we make decision, we are strong with the decision, and we start, Be'ezrat Hashem, it will continue. We just have to start. Hashem said, Pithu li petah, open for me a door, small open, like needle. Yeah? And I will open for you a big place, Hashem said. Just start. When we start, Hashem will continue, Hashem will help us. Abal litaher mesay'in oto. Hashem will assist us to make Teshuva. But from the other side, to make Teshuva from what? What avonot we did? Many people ask themselves, avonot? I did avonot? I look at the mirror, I saw a good man. I'm perfect. To know how to make Teshuva, first of all, as I said, we have to make the decision. Not to listen to the Yetzer Hara. He tells us nothing will happen, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I have to change. I have to make the decision. After the decision, we just have to go to study Torah. To study Torah. If we learn Torah, we know how to behave. What is allowed to do, what is not allowed. The Rabbi is teaching halachot. You have questions, you can ask him, this is allowed, not allowed. You have solution for this, for that. If we don't learn, we don't know the Torah. I will give you an example. Ben Ish Chai said a story. Ben Ish Chai lived in Baghdad. Baghdad, they had no eruv. No eruv. Ben Ish Chai had a neighbor that he lived across the street of the house of a Ben Ish Chai. This guy, one Shabbat, he looked at the house of the Ben Ish Chai. Suddenly he saw from the chimney smoke. How come? He understood that somebody took woods and make fire at the house of Ben Ish Chai on Shabbat. And only Jewish people live in this house, Ben Ish Chai and his family. So it means they made Hilul Shabbat. They made fire on Shabbat at the house of Ben Ish Chai. And the man thought, wow, it's very bad. And it's written in the Torah, Ocheach tochiach et amitecha. If you see a Jew is not doing, is making something not good, you have to tell him nicely, it's not good, don't do that. So the man said, okay, I will go to the house of Ben Ish Chai, I will tell them that what they did, it's against the Torah. They made fire on Shabbat. Okay. He opened the door, he saw it's raining outside. He took the umbrella. And he went to the house of Ben Ish Chai. He knocked on the door. Ben Ish Chai himself opened the door. The man said, Rabbi, look, from the window in my house I saw that you made fire on Shabbat. I came here to tell you, to fulfill mitzvah, to tell you it's not allowed to make fire on Shabbat. the rabbi looked at him and told him, Mister, think. Do you think that I don't know that it's not allowed to make fire on Shabbat? What do you think? I don't know that? You know and I don't know? I want to tell you, my daughter-in-law, she gave birth today. Baruch Hashem, Mazal Tov. I have a grandson. And we bought a doctor to help her. And the doctor said that she is shaking, she feels cold. The Gemara said, every woman, when she has a baby, she feels cold. So it's pikuach nefesh. It's mitzvah to make fire. Mitzvah, pikuach nefesh, dohe Shabbat. According to Maran Shulchan Aruch, if it is matter of life or death, and you have a goy, don't tell the goy, do it yourself. Because it's mitzvah. It's not Shabbat. So Baruch Hashem, we did mitzvah. Now look at yourself. You took the umbrella, it's muktzeh. You opened the umbrella, you made a tent. Another. You went from your house to the street, another thing. It's not allowed to go, no eruv. Every 4 amot you walked, it's another avon. You entered my house, it's another avon. You closed the umbrella, you destroyed the tent. So another avon. Look how many avonot you did in order to make one mitzvah that you didn't. So if we learn, we know. And I'm telling you, Rabotai, usually, Amei Aratzot, the simple people that never learned, they think they know. Huh? Rabbi, I can argue with him. Once I was in New York. I was invited to speak in a synagogue of very rich people. Somebody told me, look at that people together. I'm telling you, at least $20 billion there are here now. Well, big money. Okay. After the tefillah, after Sefer Torah, I gave derasha. After the tefillah, they asked me to talk halachot. So I said halachot. Suddenly, one of them, a billionaire, really billionaire, he stood up. He said, Rabbi, I don't agree with you. I think, in my opinion, you are wrong. I told him, who do you think you are? You have money, with the money you got the wisdom? How dare you tell me I am wrong? You know how long I learned that halakha? I spent 1 week about this halakha until I made the decision about that. And you come, wow, you are wrong. What is this? Suppose you go to a doctor. He will tell you, has v'shalom, you have a sickness. You will tell him, no, I don't agree, you are wrong. Who do you think you are? What is this? Chutzpah. I was very angry. Baruch Hashem, this guy, after I finished, he came to me, he apologized. But people never learn Torah, and they think they know. After people start to learn Torah, 1 week, 2 weeks, they understand. Wow, the rabbi opened my eyes. Many things I didn't know, now I know. My father, at the year of 1950, he came back to Jerusalem. He was 3 years in Egypt. In Cairo, he was head of the Bedin there. He suffered from the Arabs. They said it was from 1948, the state of Israel was established. And my father was there, And because he grew up in Eretz Israel and all of his speeches were in Hebrew, they were sure, the Egyptians, that he is a spy from Israel. He lived in an apartment, it was 4 floors, he lived in the 4th. So before Sukkot, he built Sukkah. So the secret police came to him, Muhabbarat, you know, the worst. They came to him and they said, you have to destroy it because you did it to make sign for the airplane of the Israelis. He said, well, it's mitzvah, yeah. No, you have to destroy it. So he didn't listen. A few hours before Sukkot, suddenly some police came, took him to the court. And we told him to destroy the Sukkah, he didn't listen. My father started to tell the judge, look, we are Jewish, we have mitzvah. He shouted, stop. I know you are a spy. I'm telling you, I give you 1 week to destroy the Sukkah. My father said, okay, 1 week, Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem, the whole week. So he suffered from them. They said he is a spy. He suffered also from the Jewish people because most of the people in Cairo were not religious. After 3 years, he got a letter that he has 2 months to leave the country. And it was a long story until he could leave. He suffered very much. Then he was in ship to Italy. He went to Italy. From Italy, he went back to Israel. When he was in the ship, there were with him group of Jewish people. So he had in Egypt, he had tarbush. איך אומרים tarbush באנגלית? אני לא יודע. Arab hat. So he brought all the people. He made like a ceremony. He took it to the sea. No more, Baruch Hashem, no more. From now I will have hat or kippah, and that's it. So he came back to Israel. He went to Jerusalem. He lived in a neighborhood that most of the people came from Iran, Persians. Iran, and some, maybe 20% from Bukhara, but 80% from Iran. From Tehran, Isfahan, all the cities of Iran. So they were very simple people, good people, very good people, and religious. All of them were religious. So he talked to them, let's start to make shiur every night. Okay, they came. For years, he gave them shiur. It was that shiur, he started 1950, he stopped 1969. He moved to Tel Aviv for 4 years, then he came back. But 19 years every night. And when I was 6 years old, I started to go to that shiur. Every night I used to go. Until now, Baruch Hashem, I remember some halachot special he was teaching. And my father told me, when he started, he saw people came from Iran, they didn't know anything. So what he did, he used to tell them stories. They are short, simple things. And before the end, every day, he used to start to tell them a long story. In the middle of the story, he stopped, he said, I will continue the story tomorrow. Why he did it? To be sure they will come tomorrow. They were curious to know the end of the story, so like that he did. step by step, he made the level of the class higher and higher. And Baruch Hashem, then he started to teach them halachot. Every 2-3 months, he used to make one evening test. He told them, next week, Tuesday, test. And some people were afraid to come the night of the test. Next night they came. No, where were you last night? I will test you now. It was very interesting, beautiful, every night. 1969, my father went to Tel Aviv. So what about the class? My father tried to find a big rabbi to give the class. So every rabbi was happy to go 100 people every night. First one came. After 3 days, he called my father, I'm sorry, I don't want. My father said, why? He said, that Persians, they are Talmidei Chachamim. They asked me questions, I answered, they told me you are wrong, and they are right, I'm wrong. They know better than me. Some halachot, they know better than me. So I don't want to mention the names of the rabbis that replaced my father, and they said, we cannot. The top rabbis. That people knew halachot like rabbis. And Baruch Hashem, in the end, the one that took the shiur was my brother, Alav Shalom, Hacham Yaakov. But he, every day he was preparing the shiur 3-4 hours. And he used to call my father to talk to him on the phone, to ask him, if they ask me like this, I will answer like this, like that. So it means people were learning night after night, they became Talmidei Chachamim. Talmidei Chachamim, yeah. And I'm telling you, Rabotai, you have a chance to be Talmidei Chachamim. Yeah. And Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul, you heard the name. He was a top rabbi. He was my father's friend. He was Persian, by the way. And he told my father, he was Rosh Yeshivat Porat Yosef. It was at that time the biggest yeshiva. He told my father, 80% of our students, they are Persians. Because they are children or grandchildren of the people you taught them. They sent their children to yeshivot. So Rabotai, the most important thing before Rosh Hashanah, to make Teshuva. How to make Teshuva? To make the decision to study Torah. You don't have different way. Impossible, like I said. If someone doesn't know it's not allowed, how we will make Teshuva? When he comes, he studies, he knows this is allowed, this is not allowed. He knows to make Teshuva. So, that's the best decision you can make before Rosh Hashanah. And Be'ezrat Hashem, I want to bless you all, Rabotai. יהי רצון שתכתבו ותחתמו בספר חיים טובים, בספר צדיקים וחסידים. ייתן הקדוש ברוך הוא לכולכם שפע גדול של פרנסה טובה, זרע קודש של קיימה, בנים ובנות לעבודתו יתברך. תגדלו את כולם לתורה, לחופה, למצוות ומעשים טובים, בריאות טובה, אריכות ימים משנים וסוף השמחות. אמן כן יהי רצון.